Okay, another little lesson. Most of you, I think, have probably done this, but it's always a nice one to do. Well, I like it anyway. How to do trees. So, when we start drawing trees, we're kind of taught how to. We imagine that we've got these Mr. Men trees, and you've got the green bit and the brown bit. But it doesn't really work like that. Obviously, all different types of trees grow in different ways. We're just going to do something fairly generic, and put in some background before I start. Just a couple of hills. Again, we don't do the Mr. Men hills because they just don't look right at all. So there's my background, and then I'm going to put a tree in, coming in here from the ground. So let it grow out of the ground. Imagine the roots are coming in. And as it goes up, it's going to taper out. Each time it's getting that little bit thinner. If you put that little curve in like that, it suggests that the branch is growing out to the front, and if you leave that solid line in there, you have the branch, makes it look like it's growing just behind it. Don't worry about too much detail because we're going to lose most of these lines in a few minutes. This is just helping us plan where all the bits are going to be. Don't like that dip in there, I'll get rid of that. Fix that in about. Right, so that's the final forking out. So each time it's just getting that little bit thinner and thinner until we get to the top. I actually made this one a little bit too high for what I wanted to do, but never mind. Right, that's my basic shape. I'll use these dodgy lines just as a way, putting some bark in so I don't need to rub anything out at all. I'm going down, sometimes I do the across one, but this one I'm going down and sometimes just putting a little bit extra shape in just to give it a nice sort of texture. I've no idea what tree this tree would be, maybe oak or something like that. Go a little bit wider. Again, it's that growing out of the ground, so allow some root development and a bit of depth in here at the base. Again, don't worry too much, a lot of this we're not going to see anyway. Right, we'll get the leaves in. Quick thing to mention, when we do our tree like this, what we don't do is the tree going up and everything just looking symmetrical and straight. You don't really get those 90 degrees. It just doesn't look natural. And then the next thing I often get with the children is when they put the branches on like hands. It doesn't work that way. You've got to draw the branch, extend it out, put little wibbles and wobbles in it, not too many, just nice and subtle, and then allow the branches to come out each time, getting that little bit thinner, and we do it that way. So no and yes. Right, back to the leaves. Don't try and draw the individual leaves at this point, and don't do the big single cloud. But we are going to use sort of a cloud type shape, but we're going to do it in clusters. Not with big lumps, because that loses the shape, the texture of the leaves, in smaller ones. So it's like this, and it's nice and irregular. Now there will be bits where it overlaps, so that bit, when I colour it all in later, if I was to colour it in, I wouldn't see that bit of branch, that would be hidden away. Coming down here, allow it to, imagine you've got all these tiny thin branches. At this time of year you can actually still see the full structure of the trees and all the branches. The whole thing is just clustered. Allow these bits to overlap the main trunk and the other bits as well. Now, next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to do this with pencil. we're going to put the shading in. Imagine each of these is a separate shape, and all we're going to do is on each one, imagine this is one of them, it's going to go darker at the bottom to lighter at the top, because that's where the light will be coming in. You can twist the light here, it's coming in directly. I can put it to one side, I'll just stick it directly for now. So as you can see, we're going to lose a lot of those lines that we're putting already with the main trunk because they're not needed anymore. There we go. And just keep building it up, building it up. That's pretty much it. Needs a bit more texture, so what I do now is don't try and draw every single individual leaf because you go crazy. Just put in a few random bits of texture here and there just to give it a bit of extra depth, and if we need to go around and strengthen in some of these outlines, it doesn't have to be too neat, we just go for it, just like so. Blend again, blend again. I think that gives you a basic idea of it. And if we do have light coming slightly from one side more than the other, I'm just going to go down and I'm going to add a little bit of shading to the far side of the tree. Which means this side of the branch would also be a little bit darker. This side of this branch would be a little bit darker. Don't worry too much about the lines. Now, unless it's just growing out of sand or mud, we're going to need a little bit of texture at the bottom. So we're just going to add in just a few small details. Doesn't need much at all. Just makes it look like there's something happening down here. So just putting a few blades of grass, maybe one or two stones and rocks and whatnot. Don't want to make it too rocky because it's quite a nice place to be. Then to finish off this little scene, just a hint of shading in the background. I was doing this sort of picture the other day as watercolours with one of my classes, and it was really nice. And we just finished it off by having somebody sat under the tree, keeping it really simple. Staring off at the sun. Obviously the sun should be up there, but that doesn't really matter at this point. So you don't need to worry too much about the detailing, we're just going to keep it nice and light. It's just suggesting what's going on really. A few creases in the coat or whatever it may be. There's the jacket, got the hand flat down there. Darker on this side, and let's see, I think I'll have this as a cap on the person, but I'm going to do it as a girl with a ponytail because it's just nice and easy to signify that. There it is. And there's the hair. Somebody just sat down on the grass, enjoying the view. There you go.